So, what do you know about having the ease of divorce that other people don't?
I know that everything is possible as long as you don't give your power away. So for me, I remember my lawyer sent me this big form that I had to fill out. And if I looked at the form, it was panicking. It was intense. Um, so I told the lawyer, I said, do you absolutely need all of this information? He says, well, most people give me all this information. And I said, well, I'm not most people. So I realized that actually I had power, which was to decide what this was going to be about. And and I was talking to my now ex-husband at the time, so it was not like only via lawyers. It was working together, and so I realized, wait a second, yeah, of course the lawyer is going to tell us what the minimum law is and what to look for, but I get to decide, not the lawyer, not the law. Not, I mean, my ex-husband and I, we have two kids together, and we were very clear on what the outcome is. So I realized I was aware of possibilities even before starting the procedure that most people, I think, kind of give away to the lawyers or to the experts. So that was one thing. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is, I realized I couldn't talk to anybody about it because everybody had their own perspective on divorce, whether go for it, he deserves it, or oh my gosh, it's terrible. And so that was coloring my experience, and I didn't want that. I wanted whole space to create my own experience, and that's what we got because I refused to listen to my friends, to my family, to anybody. I did it my way.
Cool. That's a good tagline. I did it my way.
Yeah, exactly. My
Yeah.
current tagline is divorce your spouse, not your life.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
that's good too, actually. Yeah. So, talk
be-
about that because
yeah.
a lot of people wouldn't know what that means
Okay,
necessarily.
awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. So I realize a lot of people think after divorce that they lost something or that their life is going to be very different or that they have to change a lot of things in their lives. And actually, I didn't feel like I lost anything. I felt like I gained a lot. I didn't feel like I had to change who I was. I mean, I'm still the same person. Where I lived was a different place, but I've moved before. It was not a big deal to move. So nothing really, no parts of my life were so much affected about my divorce than just a piece of paper. So, and once again, I'm not saying that everybody's going to go through that, but if you start with the idea that you don't have to let go of who you are, of how you want to live your life, the lifestyle you want to have because you're divorced. If you don't have to let go also of how joyful you are, how sexy you are, how youthful you can be, any of that, because you're divorced. It's amazing how much more freedom I think people would have in creating what they want to create. So that's why my tagline is divorce your spouse, not your life, because there's no reason for your life to be less than it was before. Actually, I think it should be more, a lot more. So yeah, it really excites me too, because I've had a few people join I have a Facebook group called the Divorce Recovery Bootcamp. And every day I offer a different tool. And I've had new people who've never met me before, never seen any of my work, come join the group. And a lot of time the perspective is drama and trauma when they first come in. And so I asked them, I said, would you be willing to not be in your head and open up to new possibilities and open up to maybe something you haven't thought about before? So just that, a few of them were, whoa, okay. And one day I said, okay, so I'm going to offer a lot of pragmatic tools. However, I do have a magic wand. So if you are open to a magic wand, which is simply an energetic tool that Lisa and I, we both use, when I realized, wait a second, I can give you this magic wand. You can use it or not use it, but I'll give it to you. People started sharing it on their own page. So that was really cool because it dropped every wall I had about the tools that you and I use. They were gone. And also this sense of, wow, this is really required now. What we offer is very much required in the world. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, cool. So are you actually saying that change could be easy for people?
Yes. Actually, I have a little distinction. I feel like change can have a lot of ease as long as we're not attached to it being easy. And the way that I differentiate ease and easy, ease is no matter what shows up, you'll be able to handle it. Easy is trying to do the least possible. So I'm somebody who works long hours, but I love what I do. And I still have a lot of ease with that because I can handle anything that comes my way. That does not mean that I expect things to be easy. So I love making that distinction.
Cool. So if people are going to join your divorce, what's it called? Just say the words to me again. What's it called?
Divorce Recovery Bootcamp.
Divorce. Okay, yeah. So if people are going to join your divorce recovery boot camp, what kind of adventure are you going to take them on? What might come out of that?
So the first one that I'm going to take them on is actually related to the book of our teacher, Dr. Dan here, related to being you, changing the world. Because a lot of people think that because of divorce, they're changing or something has to change. The truth is, it actually allows you to be more of you because you get to look at what parts of you now do you want to experience. So usually when most people go through divorce, they're letting go of something or someone that they had used in order to not be everything they could be. And so the first adventure is rediscovering everything. You could be everything that you could choose, everything that you could have. There's no definition. So it's not like, even if you have children, you don't just have to be a mother or you don't have to be a single mom. Those are not definitions that I ever use in our group because I don't like labels. And I think they limit what people can see themselves as. So that's the first adventure is, who are you going to be now? And who are you choosing to be even just today or in this moment? And is it working for you? I don't know, Lisa, if you saw recently, I posted something about a conversation I had with a young barmaid. She was so excited because I was talking about questions, and she was so excited because her work gives her question of the day. And the question that she had was, where am I out of integrity? So I was so excited that she was getting a question every day. And I'm like, that's awesome. And do you realize that if you have to look at, are you in or out of integrity, you have to judge yourself. So she's like, what? And I'm like, what if you just ask, who am I being today? Simply ask that, right? That totally changed her world. And that's really what I'm looking at with this program is kind of making things a lot simpler so that we can really be in a place of, I wonder what I'm going to choose today. I wonder what's going to show up today. And really in this space of infinite possibility. I know it sounds woo-woo, but it's actually really pragmatic and awesome because there's no limitation.
So you've raised a really interesting thing. And that is that, because when it comes to the word divorce, the the first energy that comes with that usually is judgment, right? Who's wrong? Who's right?
Yeah.
Who's wrong? Who's right? And really what you're talking about, from what I can sense, is that you're going, well, what if no one's right and what if no one's wrong? So could you talk a little bit more about this thing of divorce without judgment? Because I have this sense that is something that people don't even consider as possible. When you're talking about infinite possibilities, this is one that it feels like people don't really even see as a possibility.
That's true. So I have to talk about emotions here, because I feel that the judgments are related to the emotions that show up when people are looking at divorce. Either the feeling of sadness, grief, loss, or the feeling of, thank God I'm free, whatever emotion comes up. And the problem is we give so much power to these emotions. Like they're the answer, they're what we need to listen to, the message, the word. And for me, emotions are simply emotions. So your body's going to go through all this stuff, right? We're going to call them emotions. First of all, I tell people, don't fear emotions. They're just simply a whole bunch of energy moving. But they're absolutely not a message, not an answer. They're not the truth. It's just your body going through stuff. Now, what's behind all of this? Once you're allowing these emotions, once you're being present with these emotions, then the stuff that's behind it is what's true for you. And when you look at that, there is actually very little judgment. Once you've gone through the emotions, what's true for you is that you do care about the person you're divorcing, or you did care for them at some point. That's what's true for you. What's true for you is that you're now ready to create a life that works for you better than it worked before. That has no judgment and simply is what it is. And this came to me like recently, but I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we stop giving all this stuff that's right in front of us power, and what if instead we chose to create from what's true for ourselves, like really, really, truly, deeply true, without worrying about what other people do or say. I'm going to put my headphone on because there's a new sound in the room. So I hope that answers a little bit. The judgments also, the other thing is, a judgment is always a story, an invention, something that we've, okay, so this person did this, and because they did that, then I'm supposed to feel that way, so I'm going to be feeling that way now, and they're bad, they're wrong, and I'm right. Oh my gosh, it's so much energy. Like, it takes a lot of us, right? I feel exhausted just even talking about that. I don't have time for that. I'm creating too much. I'm doing too much. I have 2 beautiful kids. I don't have time to worry about did he do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? There's no room for that. What about we just live our life? So that's the other beauty of not working with judgment and not worrying too much about judgment, is now you get to create, you get to choose, you get to have what you want to have.
Wow, that sounds so cool. So really you're just setting people free.
Ooh, I am, I guess. Yes.
Yeah. It's like divorce is one way of getting free, and then there's this other way of getting free that's a little beyond that, actually.
Yeah. And I also want to go back to something I mentioned earlier, where one of the reasons we are not free is because we keep referring to what other people say or feel about the situation. And in our modality, in Access Consciousness, we call that, who does that belong to? We always go back to, okay, so my girlfriend went through this 5 years ago and she was devastated, so I probably should be devastated. Now, it's not exactly those words in our heads, but it pretty much is what happens. Now, my ex-husband did cheat on me, so he slept with another woman, and I discovered that. And I remember being very, very upset and screaming and crying and all that. And there was a little part inside of me, there was a part that was like, why are you so upset? And I realized I was doing the upset because that's what I was supposed to do. I didn't actually ask myself, are you really upset about this? Because the truth was, our marriage was over, and him cheating was not really cheating because he was not with me really energetically. So there was really no reason for me to be upset, but I was supposed to do upset, right? So that's what I'm talking about too, is freedom from anything that you feel you should be experiencing in divorce, or what you're supposed to go through, what's normal in divorce. No, there's no normal. There's only what you get to choose, at least when you work with me. So that's another way that I free people from being so stuck in other people's decisions around divorce or around breakup. So what if you just did it your way, and that was the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds awesome. So, what else do you want to talk about?
Let's see. So it's funny because I had a marketing coach ask me, because as you know, in what we do, we can do everything, we can talk about everything, but this marketing coach is like, you got to start with somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And originally I wanted to start with people finding each other. So finding the people you want to be with, what other people would call soulmate or something like that. And finding the great relationship. And I actually wanted to even create a dating site and all of this. But there was very little energy for me. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, that's fun. That's awesome. But before I get there, there was this huge piece where divorce, it affects about 50% of the people of the couples in the world. And there was this huge energy. So I chose to do that first. However, I will, throughout the program, infuse, tools and ideas for creating relationships, creating business, all of this with your body, everything, right? So it's, even though the divorce is like the thing in front of you that you have to deal with, it's not just that. You're a whole person. You have a whole life. So I love talking to people about how they see themselves in business and how they see their bodies and how they express themselves in the world. I'm French originally, and we're very mental. So I was a good student, and I love thinking. And then I come to access consciousness, and I have to use my hands in the first class. And I'm like, what is this? I thought we were just going to talk all day. And I was freaked out. But then a lot of people love when I do bars, when I do some of the body processes. They love it. They made fun of me because I thought it was not good, and he made fun of me. So I realized that talking is not the only way I express myself, or writing, but with my body, with my hands, with the energy that I be, that's also one of my capacities. And I hope that me being all of that in my videos, in my programs, inspires people to be all of that too, and use every single mean of communication and expression that it can use.
Cool. So would you talk about creating beyond divorce?
Yes. Like I said, the first part to go through this program is rediscovering who you be. So that's not actually a definition in itself, right? So it's not, I'm a woman, I'm a mom, I'm a coach. It's not words. It's more energies that you want to have in your life. It's experiences, it's adventures that you want to have. And rediscovering all of that is going to allow you to actually start living that life, living the adventures, living the great relationships. So I remember there was a short period of time after my divorce where I thought, you know what, I'm going to go have sexual adventures. I'm just going to slip around and meet all these people, right? So I go on websites and I tell people to set me up on blind dates and all that. That lasted about a month, but I was really quickly bored with that. Then I met somebody who is the opposite of that, who's like, we're going to take our time. It's going to be super slow. Deal with it. And I was like, okay, cool. Awesome. So I realized creating my life after divorce actually means that I created my way every day. It's not just going from one relationship to the other and then now we're going to quit. it's really, no matter where I live, no matter what relationship I'm in, no matter what I'm doing, how I make money, I still get to be me, and I still get to choose whatever I want to choose that day. I mean, my daughter, I got up at 6 this morning with her to help her do her homework, and she's like, "Hey, I don't need you." Okay, cool. Then I went to go do some business stuff, right? So even if I get up deciding to be a good mom, make breakfast and help the kids with homework, I'm, the universe is showing me something different. So that's what I'm talking about. Every single day you get to choose who you're going to be and what you're going to create in the world. And it's okay also to have emotions, and it's okay to mess up, although there's really no messing up, but it's the fun part. And it's okay to not know exactly what it's going to look like, even though you do know what it's going to be like. So that's an adventure in itself. And for that, I have to say, without access consciousness, without the tools of access consciousness, it would be a little scary for me because I have such a wide experience. But thanks to the tools of access consciousness, I get to play every day with my best friend. And do you know, Lisa, who's my best friend?
Who?
My body.
Oh, you play with your body. That sounds fun.
Yes. So I get to play and ask my body what we're going to do today. And that's really fun. Really fun.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, how would you describe the tools from Access Consciousness? Because you've mentioned them a few times and people will be like, well, what are you talking about? What are these tools? So just give people maybe a little brief sense of, well, what are these tools? And yeah, how you would use them and how it works for you in your life.
So very briefly, when I was a little kid, I always thought of myself as someone with superpowers. But I quickly knew I couldn't tell anyone about it because nobody believed me. So I experienced my superpowers in my room by myself a lot for a long time. Then one day, I'm like, I was about 40 years old now, maybe 39. I'm sitting in a class and this woman, beautiful woman, is reading from this manual and she says that we have superpowers and that's who we actually are. And I'm like, how do they know? So for me, the tools of access are everything I knew as a kid, and nobody seemed to know it but me. And it made me feel like for the first time I was seen, I was heard, people knew who I was, and I could do and be anything I wanted to do and be because I could use my superpowers and it was okay. Oh, that was such a heavy weight lifted. So in a nutshell, the tools of access are the key to unlock everything you've put away throughout your life that you knew, but you were not allowed to say you knew. Everything that you also think you are imagining that is possible, like it's possible to have a lot of money and be a super kind person, that it's possible to be in a relationship and not have to compromise on anything, that's possible to have kids and travel the world teaching classes like I'm doing. I mean, all of the stuff that you think is like, how in the world? Or like even being a housewife for 20, 30 years and then suddenly be like, I'm going to go and create an international business. That's possible. All of that, right? All the stuff that we think is not possible, there's one or more tools in Access that allows to make it a reality, to actualize it. So, and it uses energy. It allows you to tap into your awareness instead of somebody else's awareness. So we never tell you what we think you should be doing or you should be thinking. And it's phenomenal. And you get to use your body. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's very cool. Cool. All righty. So is there anything else before we finish up? Anything you want to talk about that you haven't talked about?
No, but I know I laugh a lot and it seems strange because divorce is considered such a serious thing. to me, laughter is who I be. So if you don't like that, you probably don't want to work with me. Although I have complete total allowance for everything and anything. So when I work with people, if they need to get upset, they can get upset. If they need to be quiet, they can be quiet. It doesn't matter how you choose to express yourself. This is how I express myself. And I love it. And I do it in French and English.
Cool.